Hey guys, this is Callum from EnglishShooting and welcome back to the channel. We're here today at Marmajuke Creations, and those of you that have been following the Facebook page and Instagram would most likely have seen this stunning handmade custom knife. This was commissioned for my birthday to match the EnglishShooting edition Walther PPQ. Those of you that have been watching the stream as well, you'll know that this is actually my biltong knife. Unfortunately, I've never had a knife this nice, and it's a high carbon blade, which means you do need to know how to maintain them properly, which at the moment I don't. And you can see, despite my best efforts, there is a little bit of rust already coming through. So Mark has very kindly invited me down today to go through some tips and tricks of maintaining your knives, and hopefully we'll be able to get that back to, you know, full shine. We're also going to be filming a video on Gunroom TV with Connors, because he's currently in the process of making Connors a knife as well. But this video is all going to be about maintenance. So because of COVID, Mark has just stepped outside for a minute so we can maintain social distancing. He's going to come in and take over, show you through all the different processes and general tips and tricks, and I'll be behind the camera. So let's get him on and we'll show you how to maintain your knives.
Hi, my name's Mark. I'm from Marmajuke Creations. I'm a custom handmade knife maker here in the UK. Everything's done by hand, myself in this workshop, including all wood stabilisation. I do resin castings as well for resin handles, and hybrid of live edge burls, and you can pretty much order whatever you like from me. We've got Callum's knife here, which has got some very minor surface rust. You can't even feel it with your finger. So unfortunately we're going to lose the etching, but we can get that back. The best way to approach this is going to be with a real fine sandpaper. So I would probably suggest 2,500 grit or upwards. I've got a micro mesh little bit stick here with numerous different grits on. So this is like super fine. This will be probably equivalent to about 5,000 grit, I would have thought. As long as the rust is very minimal on surface. As soon as you start to feel it on your nail, then you obviously need to be more aggressive with it.
You can see that's now back to its glory. Is there still, you can see on the other side, that's what it was like. Starting to get that sort of rust patina on it, and now it's back to a high shine.
This is a Hunter bushcraft. Okay. So it's designed to be panacea, the solution to all problems. So it's got slightly different shape handle. The handle is sloping forward quite aggressively, and it's so you've got a nice footprint for your thumb for feather sticking. This has done a lot of work this last weekend of camping for the weekend, so it's done loads of work, stroked loads of fire steel, so got a bit of discoloration. The blade has lost its edge, so it's grabby and it's not cleanly slicing.
Sure.
But I don't think we need to sharpen this. It's not got any chips, it's not got any nasty rolls. Literally piece of leather, some green polishing compound against a secure block, and we can strop. Stropping a knife, a lot of people get nervous about it. It is so simple. Hold the blade flat and then push down, especially with Scandi grind, which is this grind. It's easy. You find the point and then just gently maintain it. You can do this as slow or as fast as you want. This is a knife that's had a lot of use.
So what is the stropping doing?
It's a mild abrasive, like a super mild abrasive, and with the softness of the leather, your actual apex, it actually just rolls it slightly. Okay, so you can't strop forever, but it will get you out of a lot of problems. Well, as in, it will keep and maintain an edge very sharp for a long time. Personally, I strop after every time I've used them, just to keep them shaven sharp. Just let the weight of the knife, and my fingers are literally just holding the angle. Obviously be careful not to cut yourself. I can do a lot faster because I've done it a lot. This is one of my personal knife. This was made as a experiment. Just make sure you get the whole length. You don't need one this big. I've got one in my hunting bag which is probably a quarter of the size, and you can do quite a large knife from that, because you can do sections. There's no harm just doing the flat and then doing a little bit and then to the tip, rather than doing it in one. That's certainly how I started to learn how to do it.
So that's the best use for some IKEA instructions.
Basically, yeah. So
much better.
Yeah, that's pretty sharp now. Okay, so used a fire steel a lot this weekend, and to clean that up, you could wash it in the sink. Bit of soap and water would be perfect. Oh, I don't have that here, but I do have just a bit. This is just a bit of household cleaner. It's actually eco cleaner. Just clean off the crap from the fire steel. I've got sap on this spine.
So was that acetone you're using on there?
That's acetone, yeah. See, and that spine probably could do a bit of a sand as well, especially with your bushcraft or hunting bushcraft. You want a nice sharp 90-degree spine. This side of the knife is still really sharp. This is a bit blunter where I'm right-handed. So you can use a bit of sandpaper on a block, or one of these sticks is really good, and just go 90 degrees, and that will then do two jobs. It will clean up the spine of the knife, but you're also re-sharpening the spine. This is particularly relevant for bushcraft, because you want a sharp spine to be able to strike a fire steel. Oiling. Depending on what you use the knife for. If you're using the knife purely as a bushcraft tool, it's not going to go anywhere near food. Use any oil you like. It's all going to pretty much do the same thing. Wouldn't recommend WD-40, but a gun oil. This cloth is a workshop cloth which is soaked in gun oil. So for a bushcraft knife, that's absolutely fine. Anything that's going to go anywhere near food, personally recommend carmella oil. And this is food safe.
And you actually supplied a small amount of this with my knife.
I did, yeah.
Is that something you supply with all of your knives?
Yeah, most of my knives will come with a little pot of carmella oil, and it will be written on there what it is. And just a gentle amount on the blade, just so it's got a good coating. That is it, and that's the same with yours. It's only a thin coat. If you get a bit on the handle, it's not the end of the world. That's wipe it off. And we've got a couple of options with the handle. We've got all my wooden handles will come treated with boiled linseed oil. One thing to be really aware of with boiled linseed oil is any bit of tissue, any rag that's been in contact with it can spontaneously combust, burst into flames, which is crazy. I've never had it happen.
But you don't want to test it out.
But I know it can happen. I don't want to test it, so I always chuck any rags in an incinerator, so if they do burst into flames, it ain't going to do any harm. Or just put them somewhere safe, or light them up outside. Another option is a wax. This is a Renaissance wax. It's used in museums a lot. This stuff is like, this is quite a large part of it. You can get much smaller pots, but this is really good for protecting stuff and stopping corrosion.
It's just like on the stock of a gun.
Correct, but yeah, again, this is not food safe. So even though this is a hunter bushcraft knife, I only use this for bushcrafting.
So what would you recommend? Would you go for the boiled
linseed oil or a wax of some description? Just anything just to feed the wood. Even though it's stabilised, it still will absorb a small amount of moisture. Way less than if it wasn't. But then there are woods out there which don't absorb much moisture at all. Ebony's one, Mopany I particularly like. That doesn't absorb moisture very much at all. That's Mopany. This is years old and I've not
looks new.
Yeah,
apart from a few dings and dents.
Yeah, and it's ground to bits because it's been abused. But the wood is still stable, solid. You've got no movement in it at all, and that's just because it's a very oily wood. This is stabilised mammoth ivory, so it has been stabilised. The maintenance on this is going to be absolutely minimal. One, with it being ivory, doesn't absorb anything anyway, it's so hard, but you do get a beautiful finish. You can see the front edge finish. I don't know if you can show the camera.
Yeah, it's got a nice shine to it. It's crazy to think that this is, you know, it's from a woolly mammoth. And you
from the Ice Age.
See that shine on the edge. And obviously this is rough at the moment. You're just getting the basic shape.
The other big one to remember, sheaths. If you get sheath damp, make sure it's dry really well before you stick your knife in. This is, all three of these knives are high carbon. Stainless steel, treat as if it is high carbon, because stainless means just stains less.
Okay.
They will rust if you leave a stainless knife in a leather sheath, it will rust. So my treatment of stainless steel would be identical to high carbon.
So would you say it might be for like long-term storage, it might be better to not store it in the sheath?
I don't store them in the sheath. Well, you've seen my knife drawer. All the sheaths are in one pile, all the knives are in another pile.
Excellent. So that's probably something I was doing wrong then, because I was keeping it in the sheath.
Yeah, the sheath is basically, in my opinion, when you're out and about.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I go out, I'll grab these two knives, put them in the sheaths, and then they'll stay in there for the weekend. When I get home, they'll be back out.
Excellent.
Unless, if they get wet, the sheaths get wet, then they'll be separated. Wash them out, to put it safe.
And how would you dry the sheath out? Just leave it on a radiator, leave it?
Just air. Radiator will do it, but you don't even need to do that. Just leave the knife out of it and it will naturally dry in a dry area, obviously. Don't leave it in your shed.
Or on the washing line. You know?
And fill it up with more water. The sheath itself, I finish these with G-Wax, and I also use a leather balm. So this is leather balm, which is my top coat finish, and this will also act as a bit of a cleaner. Yeah, good example from one side to the other. So, and this also then just protects the leather, and it keeps the watersuit proof qualities. Don't need a lot, just a thin coat, but the difference is night and day.
Yeah, straight away. Even from here, you can see it.
Imagine
really pop.
like your boots. You look after them, you polish them. They stay really waterproof. They don't split and crack, and it's just a matter of feeding the leather. Don't forget to do inside where you can. I always do the whole thing, all around all the edges, and that isn't something I do very often. This is a few months sort of thing. Every few months is probably advisable. I've probably done it less than that, but the more you look after something, the longer it's going to last, the longer it's going to stay looking neat and tidy.
Just like with your guns, if you come in from a wet day shooting and they're covered and you
just chuck them in the cabinet, you're going to come back to a rusty gun. Absolutely. And exactly the same principle with your knives and all your stalking equipment at the end. Anything that's metal or leather, look after it.
So big thanks to Mark for allowing me to come down here and giving those tips and tricks. You know, I do want to make sure that this is a knife that lasts for many years to come, and it's great to see all of that rust gone. So yeah, again, to recap, make sure you keep them oiled, you keep them clean, and something that obviously I didn't do was storing it outside of the sheath, which is probably where the whilst I was oiling it, where the rust ended up coming from. So very happy again with it. It doesn't look so sad, and again, some basic tips that anyone can do at home. You should be able to do it quite easily without risk of damaging any of your nice knives. So thanks everyone for watching this video. Again, go and check out Marmajuke Creations either on Instagram, Facebook, or their website. We are going to have a range of Marmajuke Creation knives at the Bluefield Sports Gun Room, so if you want to come and have a look at them, get them in your hand and see really how beautiful they are in person, then come and get an appointment down at Bluefield Sports. We'll be more than happy to show you a selection of what Mark makes. But if you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed for future videos, and as always guys, hope to see you soon.